Hello everyone. Today we're going to solve a mystery. What is going on in the Israeli real estate market? And more importantly, should you get involved? My name is Rafi Daum. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Israel. 5 years ago, I made Aliyah from Antwerp, Belgium, and currently live in Raanana, which is located in central Israel. In Israel and all over the world, the housing supply suffered a massive blow during the early stages of the COVID pandemic, and this led to a shortage of land which was felt by the entire market, with dozens of contractors competing for every single piece of land. The main reason for Israel's housing crisis is that there is always more demand than supply, meaning more buyers than sellers, and this led that in the past year alone, prices of homes have risen over 15%. The Bank of Israel raised its interest rate from 0.75% to 2% to fight the country's rising inflation, which is the largest in 20 years. And this will remarkably impact the real estate market and become a product potentially only for the rich. And this will make it even more difficult for young couples to purchase real estate. Also, the period of repeated elections in Israel was a period of uncertainty and caused many obstacles for the real estate market. Construction of houses in Israel has yet to fill the gap, and experts estimate that there's a shortage of tens of thousands of housing units, which increases yearly. Real estate marketers who deal with foreign buyers anticipate that prices will continue to increase in the next year. So those who are planning to make Aliyah now or in the near future and want to own a property in Israel as an insurance certificate in case things are getting worse in their native country. In Israel, on average, 40 to 60,000 new apartments are built every year. About 2.8 million apartments and housing units exist in Israel as of 2022. There are about 190,000 empty apartments in Israel without people living in them, and the average apartment price in Israel is about 1.765 million shekels. So we can see that new apartments sold per year are increasing and even double in the last 4 years. However, on the other hand, the number of apartments built per year does not meet the demand and needs. So we can understand that this is due to the COVID pandemic, which resulted first of all in fewer apartments being built, and also contractors not starting new projects. But the bottom line is that there is more demand than supply, and it also doesn't look it's going to change. And all this data is taken from Globes. After all this information, you would ask yourself, is it even worth to buy property in Israel? Because prices are skyrocketing like never before. So properties outside Israel's central regions are growing in interest. The fastest growing housing markets in the last months were Or Yehuda, Lod, Rosh Hashanah, Dimona, and Kiryat Bialik, which all grew more than 50% quarter on quarter. So we can suggest that people are looking to buy outside the big cities in search for value for their money. And also the continued increase in interest rate will moderate the rise in apartment prices towards the end of the year, until prices eventually will stabilize next year. And also overall the real estate prices are increasing to a lesser extent on a month-to-month basis. But the big picture is that prices are still up 17.9% compared to last year. So therefore, all these points mentioned before are reasons to be optimistic about investing in the Israeli real estate market. In October 2021, the government increased the purchase tax from 5% to 8% by reducing the number of transactions made for investment purposes. This rise in tax applies to Israelis who want to purchase a second apartment or more, but it also applies to foreigners who are buying a home in Israel. But in case you are a first-time buyer, this law will be especially helpful to you. A new reform was also lately approved for Pinoi Binoi, which deals with large buildings or complexes, by reducing the required consent among the residents to 66% from 80%. And this will help the development of lots of projects that until now have been stuck due to the inability to reach a consensus among the residents. The National Planning Administration declared that Tamas 38 projects in their present form will end at the end of 2023. So the framework of Tamas 38 was originally intended to help strengthening existing structures through earthquake proofing. The program is eventually set to be replaced, like we said, by Amendment 136 to the building and planning law. And this change is intended to rebalance urban renewal projects by giving municipalities more say in the discussion with developers about upgrades to existing buildings. So on the left, this picture was taken before 10 years ago. By the way, this is on Rehov HaMa'alot 9 Raanana. And 10 years later, you see how an entire street was transformed into Tamas 38 project. And as you could see, first of all, Tamas 38 improves the value of the apartments. It improves also the quality of life and saves great financial expenses. And it is also very beneficial for contractors who can add additional floor sizes and apartments. Israel enforces a ban on personal cash transactions over $4,360 to curb financial crime, a ban on personal cash transactions over $4,400 between private citizens, and a limit of $1,700 on business transactions. This new law applies to Israeli real estate, commercial, residential, investment, gifts, and even owner-occupied properties. A very critical point that is very important for buyers to know is to send information to the Israeli tax authority within 6 months of signing a contract. And the maximum amount of cash that an Oleh Chadash can bring into Israel without the need to report to the authorities is 50,000 shekels. From 50,000 shekels above, you will need to report to the customs by filling out a form. I remember back in the days, my uncle would come 3 times a year to Israel from Belgium with 10,000 euros on cash on him every time. So in total, 30,000 euros, which was back then 150,000 Israeli shekels. He would mortgage 80% and buy like a small apartment in Tel Aviv. But those times are sadly enough over. This is a true story which happened between the years 2005 until 2008. You could buy an apartment in Tel Aviv for 750,000 shekels. Maybe not in the fanciest neighborhoods, but still a bargain if you compare it to the Israeli housing market today. Israel is the home of all Jewish people around the world, and Israel absorbed 60,000 new Olim over the past Jewish year, and awaits to reach 65,000 by the end of 2022, which is a 128% increase compared with 2021, when Israel saw 28,500 Jews immigrated to Israel. Immigration to Israel from Russia and Ukraine jumps amid the conflict. I would say we can compare it a bit when the Soviet Union fell in the early 1990s, when Israel saw its largest wave of Jewish immigrants from Russia and former Soviet republics. The country where the most immigrants came over the past year was Russia, with 49%. Ukraine followed at 26%, the United States at 6%, France at 4%, Ethiopia at 2%, and some 13% arrived from other countries. In other words, if we have a peak in immigration to Israel, then you will also automatically see a spike in demand for real estate in Israel. Most singles are moving to Jerusalem or to Tel Aviv. Families are moving to places like Modin, Beit Shemesh, Ramat Beit Shemesh, Raanana, Efrat, Netanya, and Male Adumim. So in other words, they tend to move more to the country center. Many Olim are dreaming of living in Jerusalem, but either they find it too expensive or they can't find jobs, so they move elsewhere. And approximately 30% of Olim move to the north and south of Israel. Popular communities in the north include Carmiel, Nahariya, Maalot, Tzvat, and Haifa. And in the south, common choices are Beersheva, Ashkelon, and Kibbutzim in the Arava. The main concern for Olim is becoming integrated into Israeli society, and this will make them, and also figuring out how everyday life works. So I would say they need to build like an ecosystem that will make them feel more confident and comfortable. And also once they learn the Hebrew language and understand how things work on a cultural level, they will feel much more empowered. Because of experience, I can tell you that the Israeli culture is more aggressive and life can be a bit chaotic. And of course, the four main barriers people face during making Aliyah is social integration, the whole bureaucracy process, employment, and financial issues. When it comes to mortgages in Israel, I just want to mention that Olim have great benefits and conditions. So we can assist you in understanding and selecting like appropriate options and mortgages to suit your financial situation and also like financial objectives if needed. And now I want to tell you something about Raanana, because Raanana is one of the best destinations to live in, and it is also my home ground and the place I made Aliyah 5 years ago. Raanana lies in the central district of Israel, in the heart of the Sharon Plain, to the northeast of Tel Aviv. With over 75,000 residents, Raanana has a mixed population of foreign speakers. Raanana has a large religious Jewish population, and around 1/4 of the population are immigrants. Raanana is rectangular in shape, and Achuzah Street is the main road and divides the town into two almost equal halves. I would say Achuzah Street is like the Champs-Élysées in Paris, where you have lots of shops, eateries, wide sidewalks, and it's also very easy, I would say, to amble along. So why people choose Raanana? First of all, a high standard of living, many English speakers and foreign speakers, education and special attention to new immigrants, many cultural and social activities, sports and leisure facilities like the famous Marathon Raanana, which is held once a year, and it's only 25 minutes away from Tel Aviv. And also you have the famous Absorption Center and Ulpan, a very large community of supportive veteran immigrants, and many Aliyah organizations for different speaking groups. Raanana has 12 elementary schools, 10 middle schools, and 8 high schools. The educational level in Raanana is one of Israel's highest. It also has special educational frameworks for gifted students and for students with different disabilities. The average price for buying a property in Raanana is estimated by 2.77 million shekels. The average price for renting is 7,500 shekels. 1,136 properties were sold only in the last year. There are 539 properties currently on the market. and the average price per square meter is 25,200 shekels, with an annual return of 2.97%. And before I'm going over all the numbers of the purchase and rental price, you must know that in Israel, the living room is included in the number of rooms of the apartment. So a 2-room apartment is one room in the United States or in Europe. So the prices to purchase a 3-room new apartment can cost more or less 2.22 million shekels, a 4-room apartment 2.91 million shekels, a 5-room apartment 3.52 million shekels, a 6-room apartment 5.60 million shekels. Private houses can cost upward 5.60 million shekels. A penthouse apartment can cost more or less 4.70 million shekels. And for the rental prices in Raanana, 2-room apartment 4,100 shekels, 3-room apartment 5,200 shekels, 4-room apartment 6,500 shekels, 5-room apartment 7,500 shekels, 6-room apartment 9,350 shekels, penthouse apartments 8,600 shekels, and private houses can cost 16,000 shekels. And all this data is taken from Madlan. There are nearly 100 synagogues in Raanana, ranging from small gatherings to large gatherings, and they are including a wide range of traditions, including Reform, Sephardi, Ashkenazi, Yemenite, and Libyan synagogues. And many of these synagogues are specific to immigrant groups. There are many employment opportunities in Raanana, especially in the Kiryat Edgarim Business Park, which is located at the northern entrance at the city. And you have many offices which are represented in Raanana, like the Microsoft head office, Amdocs, Texas Instruments, and many other offices. So we discussed what is going on and what has changed in the Israeli real estate market. We talked about the uniqueness of your situation as Olim Chadashim. And I showed you also Raanana, which is a suitable Aliyah destination. So I know that making this decision to purchase, first of all, a home in Israel is a very big decision. And also one of the biggest obstacles is lack of information. So I see it in my position, I would say, as a personal mission, first of all, to assist you as Olim Chadashim on their journey. And I also decided to build my career around helping people just like you. So I'm offering a free consultation if you are thinking about buying in Israel or if you have doubts. And regardless of whether it is my own market or not, I'm happy to help. That's what I'm doing. And so please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions about considering buying, regardless also where you are on your journey, I would say. So again, I'm here for you, and below you could see my link, and you're always welcome to contact me directly by email or even by scheduling a time to speak. And I would like to thank you for your patience and have a nice day.